Good evening, everyone. Tonight I have a guest for our interview. Our guest is Grant Lockheart, if anyone knows him. If not, he's got a pretty interesting story to tell about his life. Grant, welcome.
Hey, can you hear me and see me?
Well, we can hear you. We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Okay, what do I do? What do I do?
You can try to turn your camera on.
Alright, okay, it's giving me I don't know why it's giving me, no camera symbol. Sorry about that.
It's okay. It's no problem. Do
I
you
don't
want
know.
to do you want to try something else for your camera, or do you want to just go ahead with the interview?
Um, I mean, we can, yeah, I don't know why it's not letting me hit the camera. Um, Weird. I don't get it. Do you want me to try to hit join, maybe?
You're already joined.
I'm already set, accepted, yeah. So I don't know why it's not doing the camera,
It's okay.
so. All
We
right, well,
can
yeah, we can.
we can. I'd like to say before we start that I'm drinking zero sugar Dr. Pepper. If Dr. Pepper would like to sponsor me, that would be great.
And I am drinking a cup of coffee. If any coffee companies would like to sponsor him.
So, Grant, I know that at one point you lived and grew up in California. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience in California?
Okay, well, I was born in Ventura, California, which is the county right next to Los Angeles. Spent the first 8 years living with my mom and all my other siblings. I'm the youngest of six, and I think it was around 8 years old. Yeah, second, third grade. I decided that I wanted to go live with my dad in the city of Los Angeles, which is actually called the Valley. It was a town called Reseda. Matter of fact, Tom Petty sings about it in his song "Free
Yes.
Fallin'." Yeah. So, anyways, growing up there, it was just me and my dad for a lot of years until my stepmom came when I was about 12. But during the first years, it was really good. I played a lot of baseball. My dad was a coach of a couple of my teams growing up. Let's see, he was very good about me and my sister Michelle, and even my brother Mike. He always took us on vacations. The other siblings were all older, so they already were like married, and two of my brothers were in the Navy when I was young. So um, that
So
went
you're the
good.
youngest?
What's that?
You're the youngest?
I'm the youngest of six. Yeah. So I think the oldest ones, which are 1 year apart from each other, they were all like 13, 14 when I was born. So by the time I was five, my two oldest brothers, Joe and Ron, joined the Navy in the 70s. So they went and did that. So, my sister Kathy, which was the oldest girl, uh, watched me a lot. My mom worked two jobs when I was younger, that kind of stuff. The closest one I'm with is my sister Michelle, which she should be on here right now, listening anyways. Hopefully, she said she was.
Well, hello,
And
Michelle.
what's that?
I said hello, Michelle, if you're on.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, it was good. We had dirt bikes. My dad would take us. We had some property up north in Kern County, a place called Fraser Park,
Okay.
and we would go there on the weekends. Spend most of our weekends there. We'd ride our dirt bikes and camp for the weekends. And that was a lot of it. I mean, besides my dad being really really strict, um, he was good to us that way. I mean, he always made sure we had stuff to do. Um, You know, so he was good. I mean, looking back overall, life was good when I look back at it. Yeah, did I get spanked a lot? Yeah, I did, but you know, I probably deserved it.
You had it coming.
You know, you know that
So,
that was back in the day when you know you could get spanked. You know, your neighbors. I remember my neighbors spanking me for
because you couldn't behave.
for doing stuff wrong. You know,
You didn't have any get right in you.
what's that?
You didn't have any get right.
No, I didn't have any get right. You know, it's just being a dumb kid. So, and it was good. I mean, for the most part, life was good. Things changed when my stepmom got there, but we won't get into that. That was a whole nother. That's a whole nother issue.
Okay.
Uh,
Well,
but it was good.
we won't get into anything you don't want to discuss.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah,
I really wish my camera worked, but that's okay.
it's okay.
Anyways, oh, I know a story I can tell you. So, back in the fourth grade, when I lived in Reseda, a buddy of mine, his mom dated. I don't know if you knew, he was an actor comedian named Fred Berry, and
Okay.
he was on the TV show What's Happening.
Right.
And so when I would get out of school, I'd go over to my buddy's house, and then Fred would usually be there, or if not, he'd be there soon. And it was so funny because if you remember him, his name was Rerun on the show, and he was a big, probably good 300, 350 pound, you know, guy.
He's a
And
good guy.
he drove a little two-seater MG, which was hilarious, convertible, right?
Yeah.
So since seatbelts weren't an issue back then, them two would sit up in front, and I would sit up basically on the trunk, on the lid of the trunk, and he would drive me home for
Nice.
months. Months he did that all the time. You know, he'd give me rides home, and he would act like a chauffeur. It was pretty funny. He was a really funny guy.
Now,
Yeah,
at the time, did you know he was an actor or no?
yeah, I knew who he was because
Oh,
he gave me a signed autograph and everything. Yeah, because What's Happening had already been on type thing. It was over, but yeah, so he was still well known
okay.
at the time. Yeah, so that was definitely a highlight. That I can say that's one thing about growing up back then in California. Things were so different then than they are now. Um, Not to get too political, but it was basically more like a conservative state back when I grew up. You look at it now; it's completely.
It's blue.
We know exactly how it is, right? So when I was a kid, we had Reagan was just coming off being governor, and then of course he was president. So California pretty much stayed the same. All we did, us kids, we did the typical California thing. We rode skateboards. We rode our bikes everywhere. I did at one point, right before high school, I learned how to surf. Matter of fact, I used to, and Michelle, if you're listening, I'm going to get you in trouble. So she had borrowed my mom's Toyota pickup truck. And she used to, instead of getting up to take me to school, she'd let me drive it to school when I was 14.
Nice.
But a few times I decided, hey, I'm going to go to the beach with my buddies and we're going to go surfing. At
Way better
14.
than school.
Yeah, way better than school. So, so Michelle, well, I think Mom already knows about that anyways. But yeah, so my sister Michelle, let me tell you. Yeah. What a great sister. When we were little, it was a little different because I was the little brother, 4 years younger, and I would play a tag along. You know what I mean? Anywhere she went, I had to follow because I wanted to hang out with the big kids. So I know there was times
Right.
we've talked about it since that she's just like, God, you were such a pain in the ass.
Just leave me
Everywhere,
hang out on
everywhere
front.
you had to go. You had to go. You're always there. So, but you know how it is when you want to hang out with the big kids.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, I know that you mentioned that you knew Rerun.
Yeah,
I also have heard that you knew Ray Campy.
I did. So he was my seventh grade English teacher at Mulholland Junior High School, and so he is. As you know, we've discussed this and looked it up. That he's one of the founding fathers of rockabilly music.
Yeah, he's one of the founding father of rockabilly. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was my seventh grade English teacher, and for some reason, I was the only one in class that could get him to play his music. So we ended up. I liked it so much that I would get him to play at least one song every Friday in class. None of the other class really, whatever, didn't get it, but I did. And I thought it was amazing that my English grade teacher is a rock star, and he was still performing.
And but not many people knew it, or
Well,
the
I
other
don't think,
students didn't know.
well, I mean, they knew because he talked about it, but I don't think they were just as interested as I was.
They weren't in the scene.
They weren't in the scene, you know what I mean? So it was, and I thought it was special. They just thought, oh, okay, well, he plays music and, oh, yeah, he recorded an album, but he's still a teacher. That's how they looked at it. I didn't. I looked at it, I'm like, I got a rock star for a teacher. I mean, how cool is that?
Right.
I was the first school to rock.
And at that time, I'm sure like the Stray Cats were big.
Yeah, they were.
Did he have connections with them as well?
He did. He would tell stories about hanging out with Brian Setzer from Stray Cats and those guys. How Stray Cats would open up for him back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he was a big deal, but rockabilly was just taking off, and he was already older at that time. So he'd already been out, as you know, he'd already been out for a while. So it didn't. He just, but he was a teacher, and he loved teaching.
Was he a good teacher?
He was a good teacher. He was. He was a good teacher. So I think he liked it. I'm pretty sure that's why he stayed on it. But I guess the weekends he had his alter ego, because he would come in on Monday and he would have still the black around his eyes.
All from his makeup when he went on stage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but he was that was amazing. That was pretty cool, actually. Yeah.
Did he ever bring you souvenirs or?
He gave me a signed album that he had. Yeah,
that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I got a signed album, one of his albums. I don't have it anymore, unfortunately. I wish I did, but I don't, because I really cherished it. But things happen in life, and you lose track of stuff, or other people decide they're going to take it from you, and do with it what they may.
Sure.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know, did you realize how important that album was as a child, or not until later in life?
Not until later in life. I just looked at it as, starstruck of, I got a teacher that made an album, Yeah. And I didn't know till later on in life, and, that he was one of the founding fathers, and he did all this stuff. And then, when you and I got together and we really started researching on it, I think we were both just amazed on how much this guy did for the industry.
How influential he was. I didn't realize how influential he was. Like, I knew he played the big bass. You know what I mean? I know he played the standing bass, or whatever you call it. But I didn't know how influential in the rockabilly / punk rock, because that's really what punk rock came from. How influential he was in the rockabilly punk rock scene.
Yeah, much so. Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if I would have felt any different if I would have known that then. I was still in awe of him. Being that he was a recording artist. So
sure.
Yeah, of course, it was fabulous. I mean, what a way! And even when I went to 8th grade, I still stopped at his class all the time. And yeah, because he was a 7th grade English teacher, and then when I moved to 8th grade, I still, every time I went by his class, I would stop in and say hi and you know, be late for classes because I'd stop and talk to him. But so
Now,
it was good.
I've heard that you have a story. There's a story where you were impersonating an actor.
Oh, okay. So, all right. Let me go. We'll dial it back a few years. So I was probably, oh gosh, I don't know, probably 6 or 7, maybe around that age, maybe 8. So we used to go for vacation. So it was my dad, my sister Michelle. At this time, it was just us two that would go because the other kids were older. Uh, my aunt Joyce, Uncle Jim, and my 2 cousins, Todd and Jacqueline. And they would always take 2 weeks, and we would go to a place called Carpinteria, which is on basically the central coast of California. And it's a big campground, beach resort. It's by sand dunes, you know, playing the ocean, the whole bit. Well, people used to always tell me that I looked like Mikey from Life Cereal. So,
Oh, yeah, give it to
yeah,
Mikey. He'll eat it.
yeah, give it to Mikey. Hey, Mikey, he likes it. So,
Yeah.
me and my cousin Todd devised a plan where we were going around the place and we told everybody, yeah, that I was Mikey. And we went around selling autographs for a quarter. And
Yeah.
we made a killing.
Oh, you did make some money then.
Oh, dude, we were the talk of the campground. Oh my God, Mikey's here. Mikey from Life Cereal's here at the campground. Yeah, yeah, we had everybody bamboozled. Mikey, if you're watching,
I hope he
so
doesn't sue you for
yeah,
impersonating.
for the $10 I made, which
Yeah.
was good money in the early '80s.
Oh yeah, you were eating some good snacks.
Oh yeah, we went to the ice cream shop. It was fantastic. I think my cousin he took at least half, so because he was my manager.
Oh, he's your manager.
He was my manager.
Well, if you ask the colonel, that's what you're supposed to. Or ask Elvis, that's what you're supposed to do with the colonel.
Well, exactly. Um,
So while you were in California, that's when you enlisted in the military.
yep. In 1990, I enlisted into the Army.
Okay.
Went in, did that. Stayed a permanent party at Fort Jackson, South Carolina during Desert Storm. Because I went in during, it was right before Operation Desert Shield. And then, of course, then from there it turned into Operation Desert Storm. We did get deployed to load ships that were going overseas there in Charleston. And then as soon as when that war ended, I had a chance to either stay in regular Army or I could go back home and finish out my time in the National Guard. So those options were available then. I don't think they do that anymore, but it was at that time because we had, there was such a huge enlistment, and that's what the first President Bush did. So I decided, nope, I'll go back home. So I went back home and stayed in the National Guard, and then I ended up getting permanent party up north between Camp San Luis Obispo and Fort Hunter Liggett, working for the OCS school.
Fort Hunter Lake, California.
Yep. And Camp San Luis Obispo is where they held OCS school.
Okay.
Yeah, for officer training school. So I ended up getting permanent duty station there. So that worked out great because living in San Luis Obispo, which was right by Cal Poly University. I mean, couldn't beat it. Fort Hunter Liggett, I think you've been there, so you know what that's like. There's not much there.
Yeah, I was there.
A bunch of tanks and artillery and engineers,
Yeah.
But so did that for a while, and while I was in though, the LA riots hit.
That
And
was 92.
Yeah, that was matter of fact on my birthday, April 29th, 1992.
Okay.
I was 21. I was hammered off my mind when I got the call that you got to come in because we're being deployed. And yeah, I had to get a ride down to the armory because there's when I was driving. So, but I did sober up pretty quick as soon as they put us out on the streets. That was that sobers you up really quick. You know, I know it's not the same as like guys that have been to like war, but it was war for me. It was war for us. But the sad thing is, it was against our own people.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And you know, people you're watching them smash buildings, and you got to stop them. And it was just, yeah, it was not cool. Not cool. What's that?
Like you had conflicting.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, you take an oath. You know, against you got to defend against enemies, foreign and domestic. So, you know, you don't. I don't know. It was crazy. It was really crazy. And so we spent 17 days there, and we slept on the floor at the LA Sports Arena, and that's where the LA Clippers used to play. So that's where we slept for 17 days in between seats, you know, on the ground. So it wasn't very pleasant, but it is what it is. So, yep.
So there's a story here about playing Family Feud.
Oh gosh.
You want to
Okay, so all right. So, anyways, I think I was 13 or 14, and don't judge me, people. Okay. Me and my sister, I won't say which one, Michelle, but decided we were going to do acid.
Oh,
So we went ahead and we did acid, and we hung out with a group of my friends, and we're all hanging out, and everybody's having a good time or whatever. Well, this one friend of mine, he was older. I think he was around Michelle's age, so he was close to like 18, and he decided he was going to make us all play Family Feud. So, and it's hard to describe. It was just it was one of the funniest nights of my life. Of course, you know, being, you know, drug enhanced, but yeah, Mark made us play Family Feud.
and
Yeah.
were you good at Family Feud while you were intoxicated? Or
You know,
not?
I couldn't tell you. I know we laughed a lot. That would be something to ask my sister on that. She might have a better recollection of it than me. And then, but so another funny thing to continue on with this story. So we get done, right? And we go back in the house, and my dad's asleep, my stepmom's asleep. Well, me and my sister decide, hey, we're gonna make some sandwiches. So I'm like, I got this, right? So I go in the kitchen, and I get out the jar of Miracle Whip, I get out bologna, you know, bread, and I start making a sandwich. And you know, I'm getting the Miracle Whip out of the jar, and I'm, you know, doing the typical, because it, you know, according to me, it looks like it's down at the bottom, so I'm scraping it, kink, 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 right? And my sister comes in, and she's like, Grant, what are you doing? You're being loud. You're going to wake up Dad. And I'm like, I'm just trying to get the Miracle Whip out of here. And she looks at me, and she starts laughing. She goes, Grant, it's full. I probably had 2 inches thick of Miracle Whip on the sandwiches, because I thought the jar was empty.
Oh my goodness. So you said that, you realized that the jar was full?
Yeah, the jar was full. It was brand new. But to me, I thought
Nice.
it was empty. So I'm just tink, 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 tink. And my sister was like, what are you doing? And my dad comes out, and he's like, be quiet. You're going to wake up Karen, which is my stepmom. And it was so hard not to laugh. It was just, I guess one of those you had to be there, but that's pretty funny.
No, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, I know you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but do you have more to say about California baseball?
California baseball, well, you know, I played it all through, even into high school. I played baseball. It was a big part. Unfortunately for me, that I chose drugs over a career in baseball. I mean, I was I was good. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I was good. I wasn't a home run hitter, but I was a placement hitter, and I
Right.
was also I hit left and right. I was a switch hitter. So yeah, that was phenomenal playing that. Yeah,
And how far did you play into high school or?
I played into high school into my junior year. Yeah.
And
So
what kind of experience, being from California, what kind of experience do you have with surfing?
well, I did a little bit. Ending of junior high, beginning of high school, of course, because even though we were the valley, considered the valley kids. If you ever heard that term, like a valley girl, that kind of
Awesome. Yeah.
stuff. So yeah, so we were the valley kids, and we'd go over to Zuma. We'd go to Pacific Palisades. We'd go to Malibu and try to surf. That I was okay. I can get up. We'll put it that way. I wasn't a shredder, but but I was able to get up.
Now, when you say valley, like like the one they make fun of, like the with the accent or whatever it is, the
Yeah, oh my God.
yeah, like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a valley kid, and like, dude, that's tubular, bro.
So,
But
somebody not being from California, not knowing much about California, have you ever seen the movie Blast from the Past?
I have. It's been a long time, but
Well, there's a part at the end of it where the girl says she's from, I don't know, maybe it's Rosina or something like that, and then the mom's happy about it. Is there something about that or?
I don't know. Maybe Encino. So like they had the movie Encino Man
Right,
with
right.
Pauly Shore. So and that's part of the valley. That was right next to Reseda, as a matter of fact. You had Reseda, and then like Tarzan on one side. Then you had Encino. Um, but I don't. I'm not too sure about the reference, honestly. But it was a good time to grow up there. It was. I mean, you couldn't pay me to live there now. There's just no way. No way. I mean, we would during the summer we'd leave our house in the morning and play until the street lights. Like most people did back in the day, till the street lights came on, and then you were in the house.
It's Gen X.
And we didn't have the kidnappings and all that kind of BS going on. I mean, of course, there's always been, but you know what I mean. You could,
Yeah, of course. That's what the milk
well,
carton was for.
right? That's exactly why you had the milk carton. Hey, kid, I got candy in the van. But yeah. So it was a good life back then. And then of course, I stayed there up until 2008. And then I was married for 10 years. Had an instant family. She had two kids. I raised them, the best I could until things just things sometimes just don't work.
Sure.
You know.
Well, and going back to that time of your life, I know that skating was probably pretty popular back then, like
Oh
skateboarding.
yeah, I was skateboarding. So my Aunt Joyce and Uncle Jim, so their neighbors was a guy called Lou Peralta, which is part of the Pal Peralta family, right? Which is big in skateboarding.
Yeah.
And right there in Reseda, he used to own a skate park. And yeah, I spent many days skating over to the skate park and going in the skate park and yeah, learn how to skate. I was no Tony Hawk, but I could make it around the track because it was an actual track. You would invert in from a big 60-foot ramp they made, and it would take you around this whole course of concrete. So it was and then they had built an empty pool so you could pool skate. It was
Oh,
yeah, and me and my friends. I mean, if we weren't riding our bikes, we were on our skateboards, and we would skate everywhere. Just about. So it was yeah, and that's how life was back then. You know, it was the beginning era that, you know, you see all these videos of kids on skateboards and like BMX bikes riding around California, and that's exactly how it was. It's exactly how it was. I'm not sure how it is now, but yeah, it was the lifestyle back then. Listening to, you know, we had new wave music, we had punk rock. Of course, always like the classics. At that time, I think Ozzy was my favorite artist during junior high and high school. But I also had some punk bands that I was liked a lot. So
What year would you say that was roughly?
like '84.
So had Dwight Yoakam come out at that time?
I hadn't heard of him yet. I didn't hear of him until I was an adult.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know he was doing the Bakersfield um, sound, if you will.
Yeah, so Bakersfield is in Kern County. So, and you're probably talking 2 hours from Los Angeles,
Okay.
north. Yeah. But when I was 18, before I went in the army, I'd moved up to the high desert, which is still part of LA County. It was on the border of Kern County and LA County, and it was called Palmdale, a place called Palmdale.
Okay.
And, so yeah, so and that's when I really got into my mom and stepdad had a couple horses, and they were tired of taking care of them, so I took over the horses, and I had it boarded at a place called Lazy T Ranch. So when I was 18, 19, I'm having to pay for this horse, so I got into horseback riding a lot, and decided, you know, I was going to become a cowboy.
Yeah, how'd that
So,
work?
well, I got really good at dancing
Dance?
and singing with bands once in a while. But
How does
yeah,
that
and
relate to
met my
horseback
wife.
riding?
Huh? What's
I,
that?
I missed the link of
Oh,
how
because
that.
I started hanging out at the country bars.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So you
Had my
started
10-gallon
doing
hat,
some line
everything.
dancing.
What's that?
You started doing some line dancing.
Well, I did a little bit of line dancing, but mostly it was couples dancing. So I would mostly do like the two-step waltz and swing. Especially once I met my, which ended up becoming my wife, Donna.
Yeah.
We every weekend we would go dancing, go country dancing. So it was that and karaoke. And her and my sister, once they got together with karaoke, that was it. You know, I mean, karaoke was a big part of that too. You know, it was a good time. I believe. I mean, I'm not going to take full responsibility, but I take a lot of responsibility for the relationship not working. You know, it was. I found drugs, and yeah, it played a big part in my life for a number of years, So, um, but yeah, so that was that.
Now that you've mentioned your karaoke, I've seen you karaoke multiple times. Do you want to tell us about your days DJing as a karaoke DJ?
Okay, so that was mainly my sister and my ex-wife. They did that. My sister had this system, and she'd go around it. She went to a bar that my mom worked at, which was called the Silver Spur, and they became a staple there. I would come in and join in with them and do it with them. It was yeah, it was great. We had a good time. We sang. So me and my sister were always a crowd favorite. We used to do Proud Mary,
Oh,
that
okay.
the Tina Turner version.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, my sister sang Tina Turner. I was a backup doing Ike, you know, and slapping her around. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yes.
I'm just joking. So that was yeah, that was a good time. That was a good time. Yeah, we used to do karaoke a lot.
Now,
Um,
is your sister a better singer than you, or
oh
who's
yeah,
more?
yeah. She hands down, hands down, hands down. Yeah, she's
Because
still she
you're
still
fairly
does me.
talented.
Well, I try.
Yeah.
You know, I try.
I've never.
Before you saw me do that, I haven't. I think it's probably been 10 years since I've done karaoke.
I haven't seen anyone do a rendition of Rock Lobster nearly as well as you have.
Oh, okay.
You do the best Rock Lobster ever.
Well, that's my signature song. You know.
It
And
works
matter of
for
fact, I seen them when I was 8 years old. It was 1980. I saw them in concert.
the B-52s.
I saw the B-52s. Yeah, my dad
Oh,
let me go
wow.
with a buddy of mine. We went to the Greek amphitheater and saw them. Yeah,
That's pretty
that was.
sweet.
I think that was my first or second. That was my second concert experience. My first one was Rush. I went with my older brothers and brother-in-law. Yeah, but um, yeah, God, the concerts.
Yeah, how many bands have you seen live? How many
Oh
concerts have you been
gosh, let me. Let's see. We'll start off with Rush, B-52s. Uh, Quite a few Christian rock bands that were popular at the time. I went to a lot of those. I seen U2 twice, Queensryche, Warrant, Dokken. I mean, God, I can. There's too many to count. A lot. Ozzy, Rat, Rob Zombie, Godsmack, Travis Tritt a couple times. Matter of fact, I took my sister to see him one of the times. Second time, he actually came up in a trucking company I was working for in Montana. We were hauling household goods from Great Falls, Montana to Anchorage, Alaska. So, and they had sponsored Travis Tritt to come play at a local bar, but they made it an outside venue, and we supplied a trailer, flatbed trailer, for him to put all his equipment on. And yeah, that was cool because I was able to take my sister to that. And I mean, we were like right there, because it was in a parking lot.
So you're like,
So
whoa.
yeah, he was like right there, like you could reach and touch him. So it was yeah, that was great. But that was a good concert. Me and you went to Dwight Yoakam this last year,
That was good. That was good.
which was fabulous. This last year I saw Foreigner, Night Ranger, um, Bret Michaels, and the Kentucky Headhunters.
Oh, okay.
So that was good. Gosh, I know there's tons more that I'm missing. There's just been so many over my life, and I love going to concerts.
Yeah.
So I hope to go to some more here pretty soon. We got a lot coming out this way. That's for sure.
So, uh, we're about at the 40-minute mark. Do you have more time or how
I
long?
can sure if you got it, yeah, we can do it.
Okay. So, about what year? I know that at some point you moved to Montana.
That was 2008.
2008. So you live in California till 2008.
Yep.
Contrast living in California to living in Montana, if you can.
Okay, night and day for one.
Sure.
California, you basically have one season,
Summer.
summer. Okay. Uh, Now living in the high desert was a little bit different because it would get cold at night during the winter. You know what I mean? It'd get in the 30s. I think we saw snow maybe 3 or 4 times in like 10, 15 years, if that. But now moving to Montana, that was a whole nother ball game. And so I had just gotten my CDL, and I was working with a buddy. I was working with Atlas Van Lines. That's how I got into household moving. And then he got laid off for a while, so I'm like, shit, I need some work. And my sister Michelle had moved up there, and she's like, well, hey, why don't you just come up here, and you can get a job up here. So I ended up getting on a Greyhound and taking a Greyhound up there, and I got a job. That's when I got the job with this guy Dennis, which we contracted with Highline doing the moving, and it was just moving people in and out of Alaska, which was You know what? I got to say this to anybody listening. If you ever get the chance to drive the Alcan Highway, which is the Alaska Canadian Highway from through Canada into Alaska, it is the most breathtaking drive you're ever going to do in your life. Just phenomenal. So that was a good part. That was but it's so different up there because you think it's going to be, everybody stops and pulls over if you broke down, if you got a flat tire. For some reason, the city that we lived in, which is Great Falls, Montana, for one, it's your typical anything outside of California. They hate Californians. So if you tell them you're from California, you're looked down on. They talk shit to you, blah, 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 because they think you're going to come up there and they think, oh, well, you guys make so much money down there. You're going to come up here and raise our prices. And, no, not me. I didn't have that kind of money. I was broke at the time. So,
I'm coming here. It's because I don't have money.
Right. So that's why I live in Ohio now. Just joking. But yeah, so it's a different feeling. When you're in the small towns, though, the small towns are like your typical, you would think like that Montana's like, everybody knows everybody. People will stop and help you. Everybody give you a shirt off the back. It's like that in the small towns, but for some reason in Great Falls, it's weird because I felt like people were more stuck up there than they were in California. And they have no reason to. Great Falls is not that great of a place. Yes, they got the Missouri River that runs right through it, and they do have the falls. I understand that, but it's a different place. I've met wonderful people there. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to say too much, but I did have an awesome love there. So a great woman that I'm still friends with today, and she's just so thank you, Great Falls, for putting her in my life. I'll tell you that much. But other than that, it was just it's a different way of life. It's a lot different. A lot of fishing, as you would expect Montana to be.
Yeah.
Everybody there hunts. So that was something new to me from being in California, and so it was just, it's different, but it's such a big state, but everything is spread out, so there's a lot of empty spaces. We'll say that.
Wide open spaces.
Yeah. Big sky country for a reason they call it that. Well, probably because of the Rockies, but so that was nice. I mean, we were only 30 minutes from the Rockies.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't the northern Rockies. So it wasn't bad. I don't know. I miss it from time to time.
Sure.
I do. So
that's a good question. You've lived in California. You've lived in Montana. You've lived in Ohio. You were stationed at Fort Jackson, correct?
yeah. Yep.
And where would you say that you liked living the best?
Right now, I would have to say Ohio.
Yeah.
It's changed my life.
You like the North Midwest?
I do. It rains a little too much for me, if that makes any sense. Because, growing up from California, I mean, God, we had droughts all the time. So, but when I was younger in California, it would rain more than it does now. It seemed like, I don't know, maybe it just seemed like it because I was a kid, but it's green here.
Yeah.
California's brown. It's only green for about a month.
So it's so weird that you said that it rains all the time in Ohio. I grew up in West Virginia, and Ohio's very, very dry compared to what my experience was like in West Virginia.
Yeah, see, and that's crazy. It's coming from different areas, Like Montana rains, but it's your typical. It's you get your seasons there. It's spring. You get your April showers for sure. It's going to rain, but then it doesn't rain anymore, and you actually have a summer. And then fall comes, but winter hits early. I don't think it's ever failed that every Halloween it snows in Great Falls. Every single Halloween. That's when the snow season starts. And it doesn't end until you're out of April. So that got to be much.
Yeah.
And it's really, really cold up there. It gets really, really cold.
Yeah.
But I spend a lot of time on the road. I've been to every state, including Canada and Alaska. Well, obviously not Hawaii, but driving trucks. So I've been to every state there is, and hands down, I do like Tennessee and Kentucky somewhat. That they're really pretty, but something drew me to Ohio, and I don't. I had friends here already. My friends Rob and Cindy, which they worked for the same moving company I did. And once, in 2019, I started working for a company here in Ohio called RLD and Arvin Van Line. So that's where I really got a taste of Ohio because I spent more time here, being that my agent was located here in Akron. So, and then once I had a few hiccups go on, whatever, blah, 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 and then decided to make the plunge here. It's been a wonderful. I mean, I met you last year, almost this time last year. And
it was the 4th of July weekend.
It sure was. And that meeting has changed my life for the better.
It has changed your life.
What's that?
I said it definitely has changed your life.
Yeah, it's definitely changed my life. And I'd say for the better. It's been so Ohio's special to me. It's a big part of my sobriety. For one. A lot of support here with my sobriety, Even all the guys we hang out with, everybody's like, "Hey, nope. Stick to your sobriety," you know what I mean? It's it doesn't matter if I drink or not.
Sure.
Nobody judges me for it.
No.
And
hopefully,
it's great.
Hopefully, not only are they not judging you, but they're supporting you.
100%. 100%. Yeah. It's the weather's okay here. I like it. Today was beautiful.
Today was good, yeah.
Today was good. We were out riding today. Today was a good day. Any day we could be on two wheels is a good day.
Yeah, a couple little cloud bursts, but that's about it.
Yeah. A couple shots on the glasses. That was it. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just it's different here. It's a different way of life. Cost of living is really good here.
Yeah.
It's even better than Montana.
Cost of living is good. Taxes are low.
Yeah. There's a lot to do. I mean, people that I've heard that grew up here their whole lives are like, they complain there's, what is there to do? And I'm like, oh my God, there's a lake on every corner, it seems like.
Yeah,
there's lakes everywhere. I don't know. Maybe it's depending on your hobby,
And I think being in at least the part where like more the west side of Northeast Ohio, you're 2 hours from like 3 different or amusement parks.
Right. Yeah. Because we got Cedar Point,
Kings Island.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the other one.
Yeah, I can't remember it either.
That water park, what's it? There's a water park up there by Cedar Point too. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. Well, and then the Hall of Fame right now, they're almost finished doing their water park, their indoor water park.
Oh, are they doing that?
Yeah, they are. They got the tubes on the outside of it already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're hoping to have it finished by the end of summer, from what I heard. There's just there's a lot of little things to do here, and it's really
They're probably trying to get it. They're probably trying to get it finished for the Hall of Fame game.
yeah, you would think. I hope so.
Because
They're
that's all.
yeah, but they're I really like it here. I love how it's green. I love the green, and it stays green until winter comes. Right?
And also, we talked about the cost of living is not very high, but the cost of housing is not outrageous either.
No, not at all. I mean, you would think that Montana would be really cheap because the population is so low. I think there's 1 million in the whole entire state. You know, whereas I don't know how many millions we got just between like here in Cleveland. But and the cost of living is lower than Montana, which is hard to believe, but it is. Rent's cheaper for
It's like
sure.
yeah, they've got less people, but they also have less houses.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Well, where it really spiked was after COVID.
Okay.
That's when Montana made a big shift, and everything just went way up because they could. You know what I mean? And the wages didn't go up really too much. Some of it did. Your fast food places went up in rates because they couldn't get anybody to work for them because it was too expensive. So they started paying more. But I mean, not that I'd want to work at a McDonald's, but you can make $20 an hour at McDonald's
Sure.
there, but yeah, it's just, there's no reason for it. You're paying $1,500 a month for, a 3-bedroom home that was built in, 1902, added date electrical wiring, that kind of shit. And you're just like, why, So, yeah, I like it here. I'm glad I moved here. And the best part for me is meeting you guys. Hands
Sure.
down.
Grant, we're getting close to the hour mark. Would it be possible for me to invite you back and at least take another hour of your time and finish a little more of your story?
Yeah, because we can get into more other things like my journey through sobriety and that kind of stuff. Yeah, we'll do that at a later date. Maybe that'll give me a chance to figure out why my stupid camera's not working.
Yeah, and I'll try to set a date with you and whenever you're available and set you up for another interview.
All right, sounds good.
So
Well,
for anybody,
thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
absolutely, I appreciate you being willing to be interviewed and being willing to come on as a guest.
100%. 100%.
And anybody who tuned in, I appreciate you watching the live. And I hope that you would come back for the second episode of this interview.
Yes, join us.
Join us.
Join us for coffee and Dr. Pepper.
Zero sugar, Dr.
Zero
Pepper.
sugar, Dr. Pepper. Sorry.
And if Dr. Pepper wants to sponsor me, please don't hesitate to reach out.
No, not at all. So, all right. Well, thank you for having me on, guys. Thank you for joining. Those of you that joined, I hope my story wasn't too boring or it was a little bit all over the place, but I'll try to dial that in.
It was good.
Okay. Good deal.
All right, Bob.
All right. We'll see you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Out. See, if you would have seen me, it was a mic drop. All right, buddy. We'll see you. All right. Bye.